What's going on, guys? Okay, so we're all clear with this course, with the course that's being launched. I want you guys to look at it like a trilogy. Okay, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy or something. You have the Fellowship of the Ring, the Twin Towers, the Two Towers, and then the Return of the King. So if you want to look at it like that, that's kind of the way it will be. It'll start out with the retail drop shipping, which is against terms of service. So disclaimer, but I just want to say this. I've been suspended so many times and done it so long that it's almost put in the same bracket as anything else, like the private label, the wholesale, the FBA, because there's risks with anything. You can get suspended for anything. So because of the experience and because of all the things that you will know in the course for this, you're pretty much at this. It's all the same odds as far as suspension risks or whatever. Because I'm also showing all the ins and the outs of what you can do if this happens. You get suspended, you have multiple counts, or you have there's always a way. Appealing, whatever. Okay, because there's always been something that's happened to me or clients that I've had, or people that I've helped. There's always been something that's happened, and I've been able to help them get out of it. Okay, and it's something that happens in any business. Okay, so every business has some type of risk, and you're probably saying, okay, well, why would I want to put myself at that type of risk when I don't really have to? I mean, well, like I said, everybody's business does have some little bit of risk. Okay, the thing when it comes to retail arbitrage, which kind of makes it worth it at the end of the day, is you really don't. It really makes it it's kind of easy. Okay, it's kind of not easy, but it's not as hard to get in, and you don't necessarily need all this capital. You don't, and you kind of have more of a blueprint, or not a blueprint, but a way to make money faster. Okay, revenue. Build your capital, build your credit lines, and you have that way to get into the game and learn it. And build that capital. So let's just say theoretically you need more capital for other things that you want to do. Let's say you do want to do private label, or some of the wholesale, FBA. You want to get into that stuff, or you want to add different components to your business, your Shopify, your eBays, and all that stuff. And you do need to start buying product, or you do need more capital. It's just one of the things that I always say when it comes to Amazon in general. It's just you have more control of your revenue. Okay, so you can always control the revenue, and some of the things that with retail dropshipping, when you have control of the revenue, you have control of the metrics. Okay, and so you can always, if you have metric issues, you can lower the margins and then be able to control the metrics. Okay, so I go over that in the course, but and that gives you a power, because it's you can't necessarily do that. Specifically if that was private label dropshipping. Okay, so let me just go over this so I don't get confuse everybody, and I'm going to you can kind of see where I'm going. So there's three types of Amazon dropshipping. So you got wholesale dropshipping. So what is wholesale dropshipping? So this is kind of what Wayfair does. So if you know Wayfair.com, Overstock does it as well. They do a combination. They do have their own product. They do actually, they do all of this, not retail, but they do their own fulfillment. So they do have their own fulfillment centers where they are shipping their products. They will resell, obviously, they'll buy stuff from other wholesalers, which you can find. I know a lot of people get lists of different types of wholesalers. One of the ones you can kind of see all of them is inventorysource.com. You can see that. They have all kinds of programs and softwares to be able to to drop ship on Amazon, and it's 100%. Just want to be sure. Just want to be clear. It is not against terms of service doing this. Okay, you can do this. All right. But here's the problem. Here's the reason why nobody does it. Well, first of all, nobody knows about it, and I don't understand really why. Maybe they do, but I don't understand really why people don't look into this. But again. It is a little bit tough because you got to worry about the shipping, you got to worry about the handling, you got to worry about the returns. Okay, so you got to make sure you have suppliers that you can work with. Okay, and that's kind of on you. When it comes to retail compared to retail dropshipping, you can kind of use use your supplier to take the hits for you. So when it comes to returns, they'll pay for the return label. They'll free shipping in a lot of cases, and no handling fees. A lot of times they'll give you partial refunds for things. They'll absorb it on their end, and all that jazz. So it's kind of nice in that regards, to use like a retail a retail big box store, such as Walmart, Overstock, stuff like that. Those are good because of the fact that they'll absorb the cost for you. Okay, so when it comes to wholesale dropshipping, it is your margins can and would be bigger, in the 20 to 30% range, sometimes more, depending on the negotiations you do, depending on the volume you do, and also your handling times usually are waived once you hit a certain threshold. Also, you can negotiate just like Wayfair does, and actually get your fees when it comes to or not fees, but when it comes to your shipping rates, like UPS, FedEx, USPS, you can get those rates to go lower once you hit a certain volume. So, but you don't know if you're going to do volume or not, right? So you don't even know, and if you don't have any revenue, or if you have no business experience, you really don't know what's going to happen. So problem, when it comes to wholesale dropshipping, if you're just starting out into it, it's a little tough unless you have great training and and if you just start out in your account, you don't have buy box control, you don't really know what to, how to take advantage of it, and you might not really know. There's just a lot of factors that come into play, and so that's one of the biggest things when it comes to wholesale dropshipping. But it is more so the long term. Okay, so it is long term, and I will talk about that in the course, and I will obviously give you guys tips when it comes to that. And then we'll lead up into when I do the course, when I do like the add-ons to the courses, the wholesale dropshipping side, the private label dropshipping, and then the retail. The retail dropshipping is the main course, or the foundation course, and then we'll build off of that. So that's kind of, like I said, what we're going to do. But we're going to talk about all the other stuff, making your own listings and stuff like that, at a later time, and running PPC. But you really don't even need to run ads, and that's the beauty of being able to sell on Amazon. You don't necessarily, or you don't need to run any ads, because so that's why you can save so much money and just get into the game of business. A lot of people are just like, oh, so you got this huge brand and you're a seller or whatever, and really on Amazon you don't really have to even worry about that. Like you can just list a product in like 2 seconds. And piggyback off all these listings, and really you're actually just sitting there collecting, and you can make money. Might not be that much profit, but at the same time, like it still gives you the ability to, for the future, build your revenue or build your capital, and get into gain some experience, and all that. So you need to be able to be able to grow, and capital and credit and revenue are all very important when it comes to maybe negotiating. Okay, you can tell maybe UPS or FedEx at some point, if you're splitting your retail dropshipping, your wholesale dropshipping, and maybe your private label dropshipping. You're like, hey, I'm doing, I don't know, $10 million in revenue a year, and I want to negotiate rates, or I'm using UPS or I'm using FedEx, and they're giving me this rate, and we're only and this is our revenue, and if you give us less. If you give us a better price, we'll switch to you only, and you can kind of keep switching back and forth. So you have a little bit of a as you control revenue, you have a lot more benefits. Okay, and with retail dropshipping, you can control more. Okay, so that's one of the biggest advantages when it comes to that. So now, the next thing when it comes to dropshipping is private label dropshipping, which is also not against terms of service. Okay, so you got wholesale dropshipping and private label dropshipping. These two are not against terms of service, which means that Amazon dropshipping is predominantly not against terms of service. But it's just a lot of people do the retail dropshipping, and have been doing it for a long time, and have learned all the ins and outs, and they just know every little, everything that you can do. And so a lot of them combined a lot of this stuff together, and obviously you can do FBA with it. A lot of people have different accounts. Whether you do like, and I'm talking about this obviously in the course, but whether you do like Amazon, if you didn't know, actually allows you to have multiple accounts. You can request and have multiple accounts. So you could theoretically say, okay, well, I'm going to do maybe a split of wholesale dropshipping and retail dropshipping on one. And then because of the brand stuff, I'm going to have private label dropshipping only on another, okay? Which will kind of split it up a little bit, so you can keep things a little isolated. Should something go wrong, or you do have a suspension. Now I can't 100% guarantee that if one account gets suspended, the other one won't. If Amazon's approving it, so that's the only thing I can't guarantee. But I have heard that from what I've heard, that it's not the case. Like they actually, unless you're listing the same exact items on both accounts and trying to double dip, and Amazon knows about it and they can clearly see it, you have to make sure that you're not doing that, because Amazon will catch you and then make sure you are suspended for doing that. Now again, in every shape and form, you can get unsuspended on Amazon, no matter what anybody says. Just you gotta believe that, you gotta know that. As long as you have the ability to breathe, to type, and work at it, you can get it back. Okay, so I'm going to go over obviously some tips and stuff like that. But of course, I have a suspension service, like I said, that will be able to also help in getting your accounts back should it ever happen. Anyways, so private label dropshipping, guys, that's obviously more branding. So you can actually start out doing private label dropshipping and only, and that's something that's really cool because you're building that brand, and you're building. You can figure out things that are really good for your for shipping into FBA, but you can find out if it's going to sell first. Okay, you don't have to put a risk. Okay, so that's a beautiful thing, and in that sense of the word, because you actually can. You have that brand, you have the logo, you might even trademark. You might not even want to trademark yet, but you might actually have a head trademark for your main brand. Okay, and you don't necessarily know what you're going to do logo wise. You might have a logo. You might have a few products that you want to sub products for that main the main brand that you're trying to make. You could start out in beauty, or you could start out in health. Okay, you might have a couple of different ones that you want to do. Now the only thing is, it's going to be a little bit tough to get approved in those type categories right off the bat. But you can get approved to sell anything as long as you have the invoices and stuff like that. You can obviously prove to Amazon that you bought this, or you are the manufacturer, or whatever, when it comes to private label. So shouldn't have a problem doing it. But I will suggest you are doing anything in health and beauty, and this is kind of more off topic of what we're specifically talking about. But health and beauty, those are going to be a little bit more risk. As far as you getting maybe sued or having a liability, so you want to make sure you have the LLC, you have the business license, or you have the LLC, you have the business insurance, and you also have a trademark, and all of that stuff. Okay, you want to make sure everything's protected. Okay, that's a big deal. Now, but private label dropshipping though has the ability to really help you when it comes to hedging. So FBA. And the best part about private label dropshipping, because everybody always asks, well, where are you sourcing from? AliExpress or DHgate or some of these others. There's actually a lot more, but those are some of the main ones you can actually dropship from, and some of them are actually in the U.S. So it's not actually taking like 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes 10 to 14 days to actually get there. But you can adjust the handling times. And if you understand how to do great customer service, you can do this. Now, I actually do all three, so I just want to make sure we're all clear. I do all three. I don't want to put you guys, since retail dropshipping is my main experience, like this is what I've done the most, this is what I know the best. I'm going to do this first, and then as things obviously progress for me in some of these other areas, in the next few months, I want to be able to give you guys add that into the equation, okay? Because I do all these, and we are seeing a lot of success by the day. I just want to make sure that you guys are on the same page when it comes to what I originally started. Okay, and originally it's funny because I thought I invented dropshipping. or retail dropshipping one day about 4 years ago. And then I came to find out that actually a lot of people were already doing it. But it was one of those things, yeah, it ended up being something that worked out really well because just never had any problems with it for so long. At one point, I actually did tell Amazon that I was drop shipping from like Walmart and Overstock and Wayfair, and they did actually never even said anything. Just so we're all also on the same page. Walmart had I was one of the 50 original bulk resellers. Okay, like they knew specifically I was selling on Amazon. Okay, they knew that. All right, and it was just such a funny. It was so funny when I was in the bulk reseller program that they had as far as being tax exempt and actually being having that official title. They would actually send out emails. It would be like attention bulk resellers. Here's updates here, or here's updates there. Like they would actually, like Walmart would actually address us. So a lot of people are like, oh, does Walmart like dropshippers? I mean, well, they had a program for it. And I want to say they still have it. I mean, you can still become tax exempt and resell and all that. I have all of the contact information for being able to do that. Overstock actually at one point, some of my friends and stuff like that. And even I actually had a message where they said, are you drop shipping? And then they actually messaged and say, oh, we love drop shippers. Okay. So, I mean, those, there are certain companies that actually do like it. There are companies that, that hate it, hate you doing it as far as when it comes to retail dropshipping. And it's just one of those things that you have to find the suppliers that do tolerate it and do like it. And Walmart has a thing, if you're a terrible seller, okay, they will obviously close your account. Just because you have too high of a return rate. Okay, you don't know what you're doing, and then you're just getting I don't know, things aren't looking good for you as a online seller. So you can obviously create more Walmart accounts and all that jazz. You can create whatever. If it was another account or if it was something else, you can create more accounts. But specifically, I know this for a guaranteed fact. Like Target and stuff like that. Like some of those ones, you can't do that. Like they absolutely hate drop shippers. I mean, they've gotten, and even Bed Bath & Beyond, a lot of people are like, oh, Bed Bath & Beyond's great. Well, when it comes to, I've had a lot of instances where they will actually cancel your orders. Like they will literally cancel your orders even after they've let's just say theoretically you bought the item, somebody actually had the items bought and sent, or not sent, but they bought them and then they were about to be sent, and Bed Bath & Beyond canceled the orders and didn't refund that person. Okay, so a crazy situation, but someone got screwed about I think it was like $20,000–$30,000. So just so you guys are all on the same page there, I just want to give you guys a heads up. I do know of the ones that usually work the best. And I have done this for so long, I just know what's going to happen before it even happens. So that's why obviously I can do a course on it. I wouldn't suggest, I mean, there are other people that do courses when it comes to this, but I've watched them and they don't have enough safeguards to be able to protect it. Okay. Now there will be people that will probably, and I also want everybody to go in the mindset, okay, like there will be a point that I will say 90% of you guys, and this is regardless of any course you do take, 90% of people just get suspended on Amazon. At least that's what it seems like. From what I know, from what I've seen, from the people that I've managed, partnered with, friends, whatever, so many people get suspended multiple times. Okay, it's really just a part of selling Amazon. So when you go in and taking the course, you don't be in a position where you're going to be heartbroken. Okay, if you get suspended, it's not. It's just a part of selling online. Okay. Unless you want to do your own Shopify store and spend, I don't know, $10,000 in ads and stuff like that, and take that risk, okay? Which I never recommend. I never recommend starting. You can start on eBay, which I always recommend first. You can do Amazon if you have a really good course like this one. Amazon and eBay are going to be your best places, your best bets to start off with, because you're going to be encouraged based on the sales. You're going to be like, okay, I'm growing my account, I'm growing my revenue, I'm growing my credit, I'm learning the game, and then you can take that profit and take that experience and take all that stuff, because you learn a lot through it all. Okay, you learn so much through every little thing, and so the beauty of it is you can take that and throw it into whatever you're branding. Okay, and when you're even doing your private label drop shipping, your brand can flow into your own website. Okay, your own Shopify store. It can flow into Etsy. It can flow into depending on what you're making. It can flow into let's say it can flow into Walmart. It can flow into Jet. It can flow into Newegg. You can sell on all these platforms. What is it? Sears. You can sell on. You can sell on anywhere. Okay, there's so many marketplaces that you can sell on, and the beauty of that is you're going to be able to build your business and your brand through all of these. Okay, they're pumping millions and millions of dollars in marketing, and you don't have to. Okay, which will then give you the money, to then reinvest into your own brand. Okay, so you'll already have the money that you didn't have to risk, and then you can invest in your real brand. And I didn't even mention this, but being able to do private label dropshipping, AliExpress, you can actually sell on Amazon US, Amazon Canada, Amazon Mexico, Amazon UK, Amazon France, Amazon Japan, Amazon China, which is funny if you're selling AliExpress items from China in China. That's just funny to me. The shipping should be, I don't do that, but I'm just saying like that would just, you do it, this is their, last year was the first year that Amazon China was, you could actually be a seller at Amazon China. And that was kind of like, when they invited me, they said, this is basically like Amazon.com, the first year being launched. This is equivalent to Amazon.com, the first year they were ever in existence. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Amazon China will be awesome at some point. And it actually probably, I've seen some people that are doing really well with it. But with Amazon China, the thing is it's better to sell American stuff. So if you're doing like wholesale dropshipping and have the ability to sell it to China, they want to pay for real products because they're just so sick of their own, they're just so sick of the fake crap. It's one of those things where they've gotten to a point where I mean, hey, fake Jordans and all these fake this, fake that. It's just they're sick of it. Okay, they want real shit. All right, and they're willing to pay for it. They're willing to pay sometimes double, triple, whatever. Okay, so it's not even a question of like, oh, do they have the money? They do have the money, and they will pay. Okay, just like I always say, I mean, I don't know where people get the money to. I see so many people in Louis Vuitton, Versace, and all this stuff. I'm just like, where are these people? I don't know where these people get the money to pay for all these $2,000, $3,000 purses, but they do. But anyways, so this is kind of all the breakdown of all the types of Amazon dropshipping. Okay, and I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page because two are not against terms of service, and one is. Okay, so and obviously the one I'm teaching is against terms of service, but that's why it's taking so long. Because remember, this is the hardest course to make because there's so much. There's so many things that you have to do in order to not get suspended. And then should you get suspended, there's a lot of things you have to do, and you have to be patient. Okay, you can't freak out. All right, which is why I always recommend. I mean, when you're first year in business, if this is your first year in business, you need to have a job. I mean, don't just be like, this is my only job. Okay, I know having expectations is a big deal, but remember, and I'm gonna just end it with this, my story. Remember, I started out as a bartender, server. I did personal training. I did insurance sales. I did all kinds of stuff. And it was just something that flowing into my business. I was trying to build my credit. I was trying to make sure that I wasn't really taking any profit that first year out of my business. So everything that was reinvested and trying to get that build that credit up. Okay, I actually technically. When I say nothing was taken out, another reason why was because I was in debt. Okay, it ended up being first year. One of my the first college that I went to was Covenant College in Georgia, and if you look it up, it's like 30-something thousand a year, and so that put me in a lot of debt. and even though I had a partial basketball scholarship, it still put me in a lot of debt because I still already had debt on top. So that definitely wasn't in the best. It wasn't the best move financially because until I found out when I went to the state school, I can get school for free, and I never knew that. My mentor actually showed me how to do that, and that was super nice. So and then obviously I made the deal. I made the pact that if I ever start making more money on Amazon than I could in my major, I'm just going to drop out. And so and so that ended up happening. So I dropped out because of the fact that I was making over. The most you can ever make in computer engineering is, that I knew of is 120, 150, and at that point I was making, over that. And so I was just like, okay, we're done. And so we got to a place where we're just going to go ahead and move on. And but I'm just saying this, guys, because I just want you guys to understand where I'm coming from, and just come from. I'm not just coming in and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna start business. I don't really even want to be a business owner. I was just put in this position to become a business owner because of basketball. I was a really big basketball person. I wanted to be obviously Stephen Curry 2.0, and didn't end up happening obviously. Too many injuries and just never things just never went the way I wanted them to, and always something. So I just had to move on, and business was the only way that I felt like it was going to be able to put me in a position to succeed in the level that Stephen Curry did. And so that was a thing. I know I'm bringing up his name, but it's just like that for me. That was who I saw as a rival. Okay, that when I was looking at somebody that was identical to where I was, there was nothing that I looked at, and when I saw him at the time, that was more talented than myself. So I know obviously now he's like he's now one of the greatest players in the NBA, and so when you look at it from that perspective, of course. But I just want you guys to know that I had a different way of thinking back then, and now for business, I have the ability. I had the ability to still think. Okay, I don't have my body was my business back then. Now my mind is my business. So I have the ability to think my way to getting to the top. Okay, and you have to do a lot of thinking, a lot of strategy, a lot of things to protect yourself. And I'm going through that through the course. So that's the goal. Or that's the whole point of this course, to be able to go through everything. So again, the course will be retail dropshipping. Okay, that's going to be the course, but it will have all the hints and all the stuff when it comes to private label dropshipping, and flow into that eventually. So and when all three are actually connected, it'll be thebomb.com. You'll have the choice to do whatever you want, obviously, and then you'll also be able to have the ability to create multiple accounts. And I didn't mention this, sorry. So you can obviously make multiple accounts. Let's just say theoretically you bought someone else's account, or you partnered with somebody that didn't have another account, and just create a private LLC, or you can it doesn't even matter if you're partnering with somebody. You can partner with somebody that it could be a cousin, doesn't have that last name or same address, and you can make another Amazon account that way. But there will obviously need to be a driver's license or identification, because they might ask for it. Back in the day, just so you guys have a history lesson, 2 years ago they never asked for that. Amazon never asked for driver's licenses, but people like me started getting. It was actually because of people like me. They wanted to make sure that they could protect that, so they started asking for all this information like that, just to secure it. But remember, it's I just want so everybody's clear. There's nothing fraud, okay? But it's nothing fraud that you're let's just say cousin, or know that your business partner has an LLC and then that's their name, okay? You could just as well be a silent partner. You could be which is totally legal. You could just as well be a it could be like a client or something. You could be for all they know. All right, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're, they're just looking at the face. Who's the face of the account? Because an LLC is, it's its own entity. Okay, you get sued, it's this entity. It's the protection. That's what it is. Like it protects you. Okay, you can declare bankruptcy on that LLC. You don't have to declare bankruptcy on all your other LLCs, okay? And it protects you from that, okay? You get sued for that particular LLC, yeah, you can declare bankruptcy, and that's, that protects you. It protects your assets, all right? Or a limit of that. And it depends on how well you kept things isolated for that LLC. If you start mixing LLC stuff together, that's when you can put yourself at risk. But anyways, so I just was kind of going over all this and all the stuff that when it comes to the types of drop shipping. Hopefully that was helpful. But you guys will we'll be able to go over all this stuff in the course and try to really dig deep, and hopefully all you guys will be massively successful. So thanks, guys.